Hello, and welcome to Audiobiography, the podcast where we talk about the music that changed our lives and yours. I'm Richie, and I've got my trusty pal and co-host Clint with me. What's up, Clint?
Hey, Rich, what's up, buddy?
We're just about to talk about some records, and I'm excited.
Yay, our favorite thing. Besides the Immaculate Grid, our favorite thing is music.
Oh, yeah. Y'all need to get on, if you love sports, get on the Immaculate Grid, just saying. Yeah, so we're going to start this series where we talk about our 5 favorite records from every year that starts with my birth year going into yours. Mine's 72 and yours is 80. You know, the 70s, 80s, and 90s are pretty pivotal for both of us as far as music goes, I think. And
Most definitely.
I'm just crazy excited about this. And so, you know, we're just going to jump right in, man. I'm going to go first. So here's the deal, everybody. There's no rules here. This is just our 5 favorites. Like, they may not be the best. This year is a really good example, and you're going to find out about that later, that something that I think is critically and artistically more worthy is not on my list, but it's on Clint's, and I'll tell you about it when we get there. So I'm going to start, and we did a top 5, and we're both going to start at number 5. It's hard for me to say that any of this is really in any order. That was the hardest part of it for me. So I'm starting with Bill Withers' second album, Still Bill. A few reasons that I love this album. Number one, he's one of my favorite voices in all of music, much less R&B. Second, Lean on Me is on this album. Everybody knows this song. It is it's an all-timer. You can't get away from it. A lot of people are probably really tired of it. I love it, and it just so happens that was the number 1 song on my birthday, the day that I was born.
Really?
Yeah, and so it's always, once I found that out, I don't think I found that out maybe until somewhere, maybe in the 90s, when I thought to look up such things. I encourage everybody, go see what the number 1 record was, or song, either one.
Actively doing that now.
Yeah, on your birth, yeah, on the actual day you were born. But even beyond that song, the song "Use Me," it's quite possibly my favorite Bill Withers song. I love the lyrics, and you know, what that song means to me is it's very personal, because I feel it fits for me. If you know the song, it's basically about, you know, being the kind of person that will do just about anything for anyone. And in the song, he's saying, "Use me until you use me up," and I feel like that a lot. So it's very personal to me. I mean, beyond that, you know, the whole record's a really good listen. It's early 70s R&B. It's a short listen. You can get through the record really quick. Yeah, that's my number 5.
Great first pick there, Rich. It's hard to follow that. But I'm going to jump into my number 5. So you have Bill Withers, who is African American. Then I'm going to go with the whitest person in the history of music. I'm going to pick Something Anything by Todd Rundgren. You can't get any whiter than this man. Actually, I think that was a quote I read or something. It made me laugh. Anyway, why do I love this album? I own it. It's one of those, when we were at Used Kids Records together, and I found a halfway decent copy of it. Or maybe we were at, no. I bought this one at the one in Clintonville. So it has I Saw the Light and Hello, It's Me. Those are the 2. This album kind of hits my list. It's kind of become something I enjoy listening to later, maybe in the past 2 to 3 years. I think I Saw the Light was one of those songs I just kept playing over and over and over at a time. I'd be walking the dog or something. I think I remember just a week stretch of walking the dog in this bitter cold weather. And the thing about winter here, the temperature may look exactly the same as what it is in Tennessee, Rich, but when the wind blows here, it feels like 10 to 15 degrees colder. It is just bitterly cold.
Remember, I've been there with you in December, so
you know.
Yeah, and the grays, Like the sky is never anything but grayish.
I'm gonna walk into a paint company and say, I want Ohio gray, and they'll give me exactly that. They'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, I just have a good memory of me listening to that song a lot one winter walking the dog. And I don't know how that really relates to the story, but I like the album. It's different. It's very it's almost like live recording almost. The way he did that album. It seems like it all just kind of run together. He didn't really do a lot of editing. He just wanted to.
It's a long album too, right? Double.
It's a double album. I mean, total number of songs, it's like 25. So it's like the opposite of the Bill Withers album. Like Bill Withers, you
Yeah.
could do probably in 30 minutes. You're gonna have to spend some time with this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's different. It's weird.
I like the
And
pick. I love the pick. Todd Rundgren's actually, he's pretty prolific producing and all the stuff that he's done. I mean, he produced some XTC records. Just throwing that one out there, which is weird. One of
well, he
my
did he did,
favorite bands from the late '70s into the '80s.
yeah, he worked with a lot of bands. Yeah, his music is interesting and it's a little bit different than what I would typically listen to. But yeah, I like it. So that's my number five.
I'm going to combine my 3 and 4. No rules here, right? Anyways, the reason that I am going to combine them is because they're both by Al Green. No particular order here, really. But I'm still in love with you, and let's stay together. I kind of came late, I guess you could say, to the Al Green party. I don't remember hearing it a lot in the '70s when I was growing up, like some of this other stuff. Somewhere maybe in the '90s, I finally it clicked and I got it, and I started to get more into like classic R&B. Just one of the most amazing voices ever. The Reverend. I mean, he is smooth. He's got a great falsetto. He can do it all. An amazing, amazing talent. So I'll just start it. Let's Stay Together. Obviously, the title track, but also I love the cover of this album. He's just on the front with a jacket, and even though his skin is darker than my son Ricky, he reminds me in that picture of my son Ricky. Just that's just a little aside. Like I'm like, that kind of looks like Ricky in a
It
way.
kind of does. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, it just reminds me of him. So that's kind of a cool thing. But "Let's Stay Together" is one of the greatest songs ever written and recorded. It's just an amazing song. But maybe my favorite song on this record is "How Can You Mend a Broken Heart," written by Barry and Robin Gibb of the Bee Gees. And as great as their version is, it doesn't even touch this version that Al Green does. Like it's not even close to me. I
Wow.
I love that version, and it's like it's really long too, especially for
Yeah,
the time.
6 minutes and 23 songs. That's long for an R&B
Oh,
song.
is that how long it is?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
I just know that it's long. Great, that's a great song. So moving on to "I'm Still in Love with You" again, yet another the title track, just amazing, and it's a short song, just beautiful. He also covers "Pretty Woman" on that record, which is it's an okay version. I'd still rather hear Roy Orbison and probably Van Halen. He did,
Yeah.
but he does it justice. One of the things that I did not know when we decided to do this, and I started doing some research. Oh, let me mention before I mention that "Love and Happiness," another amazing Al Green song. Everybody, I mostly put this on here so that if you haven't listened to Al Green or it's not something you normally gravitate to, just do it. It's good stuff. But he did a song written by Chris Christopherson. It's "For the Good Times." I know the song by Al. I didn't know that Chris Christopherson wrote that, but he did. But yeah, so "Love and Happiness," and of course "I'm Still in Love with You" were both the big ones on that one. And also look what you've done for me. That's another just great song. Again, it one of those that sort of came to me later in life, and I find myself very often, even if I've got 30 records that I've bought that I've not listened to yet in the queue, I'll always go back and listen to some Al Green. And again, it's also the records are short and it's quick to get through. I like that. I like the long stuff too, don't get me wrong. But that's one of the things I appreciate. Did you get to listen to any of this stuff in prep, or do you have feelings on Al Green? I know it's out of your wheelhouse, which is fine.
It is out of my wheelhouse, but I do love Al Green. My first exposure to Al Green was the movie Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
and that might have been a lot of people's introduction to Al Green.
And
So
that may be subliminally when I started, because that's in the 90s.
yes, 95, 94, 95, somewhere around there. So I instantly loved the song. And it just that was it. It's kind of like a bookmark, right? I love that song. Gonna remember that. Well, the next data point for me is Talking Heads, covering Take Me to the River.
Take me.
So
yeah.
I love that song so much. I went and downloaded Al Green's version of it.
Not the same.
Not the same at all. And I actually like the Talking Heads version better.
I do too.
Even the live version, but the live version on Stop Making Sense, I think is more of a nod to Al Green than it still has the.
You're right. It's definitely more soulful than the studio version.
Yeah. But he kind of intertwines the two. I love how they did that in the live version. So that's my connection to Al Green. I'm glad you put both those albums on the list. This is in the era, he's kind of like in the formula of the Beatles. 2 albums in 1972. There's not a lot of, there's not too many people that are capable of putting out that much material. So that's pretty cool.
It's of the time. The music industry was booming by then and boomed all the way through, the 80s before it started to kind of slow down in the 90s. And of course, now it's, in some ways, you could say the music industry's dead. But yeah, they were at it all the time. Got to get a song on the radio. Got to get records in the stores. We got to make that money.
Well, that was that. Just real quick though, I like the point you bring up. It's a different time. Radio was the format. There's no music videos. Radio and live concerts, and you're getting your album out in stores. And how are they going to listen to it? Well, if you got a hit on the radio, that's how people are going to know about your song. There's not the internet. There's, nobody's texting each other. Nobody's sending anybody their Spotify playlists. In some ways, it's so much cooler how music evolves, the communication, sharing of music has evolved. But in those times, it was word of mouth. And it just seems like I wish I had grown up. I had been like a teenager in that time. It would just been a lot cooler to just share. It's like, oh man, borrow this record, borrow my physical record. We let each other borrow CDs and things, and that was cool too. But I don't know, that just seems like a lot. You just had to really earn it. You had to really, if you discovered something, you've really done some incredible work to get there.
Yeah. Well, I was a teenager in the 80s, and I remember borrowing records because CDs weren't necessarily that accessible to everybody I knew yet. And I remember borrowing records and dubbing them onto cassette tapes.
Yeah. So I had a buddy that did that with a few records, but he was it. It was taping from the radio to cassette tape. But then most of my experience, Rich, was dubbing, making a mixtape from a CD onto a cassette tape. So
at least you were still going backwards to the cassette tape. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I had a Walkman. I wanted to listen to it on the bus ride.
And we didn't have CD burners yet, so we couldn't copy somebody's CD. So if they had a CD and we needed to get it, we had to put it on tape.
That was 99 or 2000 or something like that when I got my first CD burner. So
yeah. Oh, now I love that. That was a good rabbit trail right there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Let me bring it back to 1972. Or did you have something else you wanted to add there?
Nope. And you're now in for 2 in a row.
All right, I'll do 2 in a row. That's fine. At number 4, Eat a Peach by the Allman Brothers Band. I'm not the biggest Southern rock fan. I do like it. I'm not going to tell you I don't. But of all the Southern rock bands, I think I like Allman Brothers best. I do like some Leonard Skinner. That's guilty pleasure music, and I just admitted it.
No, I do too.
I kind of like it.
So many good songs.
I don't like the Fabulous Thunderbirds.
No,
Just
I
get me out.
can't
Just
do that.
if I heard Tough Enough right now, I'm going to throw this microphone out the window.
Are you tough enough?
Not. I don't want that. But the Allman Brothers, and then I'm thinking about the original, and this has got some of the last stuff that Dwayne Allman recorded before he died. So this album is extraordinary from that standpoint. I think Little Martha is one of the last things he recorded, just the all guitar. That's the last track on the album, but it's got a mixture. The key songs on the album is Ain't Wasting Time No More, Melissa, and my favorite Allman Brothers Band song is Blue Sky. Incredible guitar solo. Just if there was ever a song that you needed to hear to put you in a better mood, might I suggest you just go listen to Blue Sky. Yeah, you can tell me that you don't really like Dickie Betts' voice. He's really Southern. Yeah, I mean, I like Greg Allman from a vocalist and a songwriting perspective, but it's kind of the same thing with the Beatles. I'm a Paul guy like you are, but my favorite Beatles song is a John Lennon song, Dear Prudence. But here, yeah, that's far and away my favorite Allman Brothers Band song. But yeah, it's just a beautiful song, and it'll put a smile on my face every time I hear it.
I think the reason you can get past his voice on that is he actually wrote it too. So like when somebody's singing a song that they wrote, it holds more weight.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And One Way Out is really good too. So that's a live cut on the album.
I mean, I don't even mind flipping to side 2 and listening to Mountain Jam for the rest of the day.
Yeah, all 33 minutes of it. Yes. Yeah, that's very but yeah, so you gave me a copy of at the Fillmore Live at the Fillmore West. Is it Fillmore West or Fillmore East? Which one is it?
West. I think it's West, yeah.
So I think the Allman Brothers are one of the original jam bands.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh
no, for real.
We're going to stretch this 4-minute song into 35 minutes, and you're going to like every single minute. Actually, we don't care if you like it. We're just going to play it.
Yeah, and I love this pick. I mean, I'm with you. I'm definitely a Allman Brothers at the top for me for that genre. I mean, God, there's so many good songs. Midnight Rider and Whipping Post and Statesboro Blues, and you get good live. It was Fillmore East, I think, and you get those live on that one. But this was a very popular record. It's one of those live records that sold a bunch of copies, and there's a reason because it's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's my number 4.
Nice.
Now to go back to back, let's go 180 degrees, and we'll go across the pond. My number 3 pick is Foxtrot by Genesis. Now, yes, I'm a Genesis homer. If you've listened to any of these podcasts, you know that I love Genesis. I'm not going to be apologetic for it. I love them.
Don't have to be.
Whatever. This album, I went back and forth that should I have it in my top 5. It's not one of my favorite Genesis albums. But then when I think about what is on the album,
Supper's ready.
Okay, Supper's ready. It's not as long as Mountain Jam.
No.
But I don't think, Rich, I begin to wonder. I think most people only know, if you said Genesis, the first thing they're going to think about is the I Can't Dance video or the Invisible Touch video. And that's fine. I love that era of Genesis too. It's not my favorite eras of Genesis, but that's fine. But I don't think people even know. First of all, I don't even think they know Peter Gabriel was in the band. And actually, the only reason they may know is if they watched the show Parks and Rec, they made a joke about Peter Gabriel leaving the band in an episode, and I always thought that was hilarious. But Yeah, Peter Gabriel was in the band. Phil Collins was the drummer. Barely sung any songs. He sung backup and sung a lead vocal on just a handful of songs, if that. And this is very early in their career. And I think, the album before this was Nursery Crime, and it had one of their they were starting to get momentum. They had Steve Hackett, and they had brought in Phil Collins, and they were a 5-piece set, and they're really starting to get their footing. They come out with this album. First song is Watcher of the Skies. It's a classic. It's as prog as you want to get. It's like 8 minutes long or something, but it's got a really long mellotron intro, very eerie, and it picks up speed eventually. It does, but it's just a staple. I think they played it live a lot. But yeah, the highlight of the album is Supper's Ready. It is a medley of songs. It's like 5 or 6 different songs that have nothing to do with each other. And it's basically describing the apocalypse. And I will tell you, it's like, I don't know how many times I've listened to it. Harder to do this on a record. I don't like if I have like the remastered CD version of it. I don't know how many times, and I know I went to about the 3.5 minute mark on Supper's Ready. It's after the first intro, and they're building up to the second part, which I can't remember the second part, but it's give me just a second here. I have to, maybe I can't think of what it is right off the top of my head what the second part's called, but it builds into the next part of the song. And that to me is the highlight. And I don't know how many times I'll just go back and listen to that 3.5 minute to the 7 minute section of the song. That is one of the greatest moments of Genesis that I've ever heard. If you haven't heard that, listen to the whole song. Just carve out some time. I don't know. Have it going on in the background if you haven't listened to that song. But you might see what I'm talking about if you just listen to that one section of the song. What are your thoughts?
You know why it's great, right?
Why?
Steve Hackett.
Oh, shit, Rich. We're never going to forget that. Listen, let me give Steve Hackett his flowers. Steve Hackett it still is an amazing guitar player.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he added an element of Genesis that they needed, because I don't think Mike Rutherford is very talented, but some of those classic solos from the guitar work from that time. Thank you, Steve Hackett.
Yeah.
And Steve, they all contribute that song, but thanks for that.
We're going to have so many Steve Hackett jokes.
But that just teed that one up for you. So that was appropriate. All right. That was my number 3. So now it's back to you.
Oh, yeah. We've got 2 each left, right?
That's correct.
And it dovetails perfectly, too, when you get to your second one. All right. My number 2 is Roxy Music. Roxy Music. It's going to seem like a really weird pick to some of you, but I don't think that people realize just how important that band is. And this is their debut album. I tried to think about like pulling out songs from it, but you can't really. It's like you need to listen to the whole thing. And it's not like it doesn't all fit like song to song to song. But if I had to pull something out, I mean, the opening track, which is an amazing opening track for a record, Remake, Remodel. But the reason I say it's hard for me to pull a song out, everything is like you've got a song in there. If there is something, sounds like one of the Ringo Starr country songs when it starts out. I think that's the song. Yeah,
there is some country elements on this album,
but there's also prog in there. There is
everything.
There's proto punk in there. Brian Ferry sounds like, I know that Talking Heads and David Byrne had to be Roxy Music fans, because sometimes Brian Ferry sounds like David Byrne before there was him. It's wild. But no, like, it is a record. And yesterday when I was driving around and I sent you a screenshot because I was listening to it, it's one of those that from song to song, you're like, is this even the same band?
It's wild.
But my whole thing with Roxy Music, I first encountered them obviously in the '80s with MTV, and songs like "More Than This" and kind of their new romantic stage. And we're going to talk more as we go through this series because Roxy Music will show up in my top five often because somewhere, no, it wasn't the '90s. This was in the 2000s. I was riding over to Asheville, and I tuned in their 98.1, The River or whatever, that plays like an eclectic mix, and Love Is the Drug came on. For like half a second, I was like, wait, I'm the biggest Duran Duran fan in the world. How I've never heard this song? And so I Shazammed it, and it was Roxy Music. And I was like, I didn't even realize Roxy Music had a bunch of records in the '70s. So that made me go back and listen. But that song in particular, we'll talk about it later. I was like that. So they they were the forerunners of so many different sounds from later in the '70s and into the '80s. I'm going to let you talk a little bit here because you just kind of got introduced to all of this like just recently when I put it on my list.
So
Right?
this is 100% true. So the way Rich and I are doing these lists, Rich has started, he's put every year that we're doing this, I forget what year we're up to. I think I'm only up through 81 right now because I can't make a decision. Or I struggle making decisions because this is hard.
It's not work, man. I promise.
I know this is the funnest thing. God, it's fun. I love making lists and I love it when it's around music. All right, let me get back to the point of my story. So Rich sends me this list, and I start out with 72, and I'm like, Roxy Music, what? What are you talking about? Now, back up to the last time Rich visited up here, and we went to Used Kids Records. So you walk into the record store, and the first section you encounter is what he just recently got in. And he's really hadn't cataloged any of it. But I mean, if you go in there a lot, I mean, that's where most people are. You're not literally fighting somebody, but you're shoulder to shoulder with somebody. I was anyway. Last time I was in there with somebody rifling through the records, like what they just get, what I haven't I got.
That's the best section of any record store for my money.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was finding things, and I don't even see Rich. I don't even know where he went. I'm like, I guess I'll find him when we're getting ready to leave. This is what happens every time he and I go to that record store. I don't see him. He doesn't see me. It doesn't matter. It's fun. So at the end, I run across him, and I didn't even hear. He had a whole conversation with the owner. And I had my own conversation with the owner as I'm walking out. Rich comes out, and he's got like 3 or 4 or 5 Roxy Music albums. I'm like, well, you cleaned them out. And he said, yeah, I literally took every Roxy Music record they had. And he's the record store owner. He was ringing you up, and he's going through every album going, oh man, you like Roxy Music? A lot of people don't like it. Another Roxy Music.
Yeah.
Dude, how many Roxy? This is all my Roxy music.
Yeah, bought him out. A couple of them I didn't have, and 3 of them were way better copies than the really crappy ones.
Then you got to do it. Then you got to do it.
And he had good prices on them. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to buy them all.
That's the best. If you're going to buy a used record, love going there. Buy new records. I like to buy from Plaid Room based out of Cincinnati.
Same, me too. A lot of stuff from there.
Yeah. But that was kind of the first intro. Then I see this list in the spreadsheet Rich sends me, and there's a lot of Roxy Music in there, people. Spoiler alert. And I'm like, Rich, okay, I've heard of so I like so like you, the introduction I have to Roxy Music is only the early 80s. It's only More Than This. And I only came across that song due to another movie, Lost in Translation, where he's doing that karaoke. And I'm like, who is this? I love that song. I'm like, Roxy Music, who is Brian Ferry?
We're going to have to do an episode sometime just about Brian Ferry. You want to talk about a crazy, wild life and character. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and there's another point I want to make about the members of this band, besides Brian Ferry in just a moment.
Another Brian.
Exactly. But so I'm like, then I have this, it's almost like this sinking feeling at first. It was like, what have I missed out on? I got FOMO. Oh no, FOMO has crept in. And I'm like, did I miss something in all? And I claim to know a lot about music, or I claim to be a fan of music. Have I slept completely on the span? And yes, the word is in. I have.
Yeah, you missed something.
I totally missed something. So a great benefit that I did not expect out of making these lists is like rediscovering things. There's already 4 things on your list, Rich, that's not on my list. We only have one thing in common, and that's the next pick I'm going to talk about. But Roxy Music is one of those bands. Listen, people, Rich is 100% correct. Talking Heads would not be a band had not Roxy Music come along and laid the groundwork for them. And it's not because of the other Brian Eno, who produced at least Fear of Music, and he produced Remain in Light. Actually, he also did this one. More? Didn't he do
Yeah.
more songs about buildings and food?
Yes, and him and Byrne are
They collaborated.
they're buds like me and you were buds. They are they collaborated outside of Talking Heads, and they just genuinely love and respect each other. And it's a anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We can talk about this
I
later in the
know, and we
series.
will.
But you're right. But yeah, it's wild, man. Brian Eno was in Roxy Music.
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh, yeah. The
and
take.
that makes the prog sounding songs make sense.
Yes, yes. Well, the takeaway though is if you're not listening to their stuff in the 70s, stop what you're doing. Go listen. Most everybody's got Spotify, or they can download it, or Apple Music or something. Go listen to them. Just check it out.
I'm going to put just one last period on this before we go to your next pick. If you are turned off by strange vocals and weird vocal affectations, some of this record may bother you, but I'm going to tell you, none of that should ever bother you when it comes to any music. There are lots of people like that. Nobody has to sound like Al Green, okay?
And they don't.
Brian Ferry, especially on this album, I mean, there are some basically goat bleat vibratos on it. There's like some weird things that he does. You know what I'm talking about. He does some strange things with his voice, but here's what you have to understand and realize: whether it's that or him or whoever, those things make it what it is. It's one of the things like why some people can't like Rush, because they can't get past Geddy Lee's voice.
Oh, shame on you.
Get past people's voice. They're doing those things because it's who they are, and it's what the art is telling them to do. Give them a break. So I'm just going to give that one thing. So when you go listen to Roxy Music, be aware. Sometimes it's not going to be there at all. And if you've listened to the 80s stuff of Brian Ferry, wonderful voice. But he I'm sorry, I'm going to put explicit on this one. He has a don't give a fuck attitude when it comes to how he sings the song. So that's just a warning. I like it. Maybe you won't, but don't let it turn you away.
Yeah. Another period on it, and this is just a comment, that it's not for everybody. I was literally listening
That is
to it.
true.
I was literally listening to it yesterday, and Lisa walks in and basically said, "What in the hell are you listening to?"
Sherry would be the same way.
It was maximum goat bleat at that point. I'm embarrassed. It was terrible timing on her behalf.
Just play remake
not.
remodel for her. Then she'll be okay.
I think she's out, man.
Oh, by the way, we talked about this, and I pointed out that at the end, when there's all the pauses for the instrumental solos, you heard the Beatles, right? You've gone back and listened. Do.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that song's amazing. Just for the whole long outro where they pause, somebody in the band does a thing, whether it's a saxophone or the guitar or bass or whatever. Great song. That's a really good place to start with early Roxy Music for me. All right.
Sneak in so much saxophone. It's not, you don't even expect it. And out of nowhere, As a saxophone just comes in there and then he just disappears.
And then the 80s are still 8 years away. Every 80s song had a sax.
Oh gosh, it's really incredible.
All right, go to your next pick, which is also my number one, which is perfect.
My number two, one of my all-time, me and Rich's all-time favorite bands, Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill.
And it's my number one, which would be my next pick. So this is
Spoiler alert, you can't even wait for it. But
this is
okay.
what worked. It worked out perfect that they're back to back.
It does work out perfectly. So we'll just both talk about it, but me first. I can tell you my introduction to Steely Dan. And it's a song off this album. Okay. I mean, I had probably always known it.
That's probably it for most people.
Yes. In my early 20s, I worked a lot as a stocker in a grocery store. And I remember working at Food City there on Moreland Drive. I'd be working and Do It Again comes on the radio there at work. And if you work late at night, the store is quiet. All you're going to hear all night, this radio station plays a lot of Wings. They play a lot of Steely Dan.
Yes.
Exactly. And and later, and some of that in the time, Rich, I didn't even know some of those were Wings songs. I didn't even know it was Paul McCartney. And it is just like, what?
That's what's so wonderful about music. Like later you find out, oh, that's that guy that I think is the best thing in the world. And I didn't even know it was him. I mean, that's what's so great.
Right. So yeah, that's my introduction to Steely Dan. I'm like, well, I like this song. And I think most people, they've either heard that song or
Reeling in the Years.
Thank you. But you and I have talked about maybe our favorite song on the album is not even sung by Donald Fagen. It's Dirty Work. And I couldn't even tell you the name of the dude that sung the song.
That was I can tell you. Oh, I don't want to look it up because I know it. David Palmer. David Palmer's.
I was going to say, this is not Immaculate Grid, Rich. You can just look it up.
No, it's David Palmer. I don't like looking stuff up. I don't want to cheat. If I know it, I don't want to cheat for it. No, his name's David Palmer.
Okay. So, the story about Steely Dan, I can muck this up, but they are just studio musicians who decided, we should just do our own stuff. A lot of bands that we like a lot start out that way. Toto, even Led Zeppelin were studio musicians. Like, oh, we're gonna go get Robert Plant, John Bonham, and now we got a band. But I don't know if I'm almost 44. Yacht rock has become one of my favorite genres, and I'm unapologetic. I don't care. I love Steely Dan. I could talk and listen. Steely Dan is a band like the Beatles for me. I could almost listen to them every day, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
If there is a soundtrack to my first 7 or 8 years of my life, it's Steely Dan, but more specifically, it's Do It Again and Reeling in the Years, because even though this came out in 72, it was always on the radio. Even into the 80s, before classic rock stations came around, those songs were so popular. And honestly, I don't know where they ended up falling on charts or anything. I imagine pretty high, maybe top tens. I don't think they were number ones, but those are two songs that have always been here, even to now. You can watch TV shows and movies that are made now and hear Reeling in the Years. So Do It Again was number 6 on the charts, got to number 6, and Reeling in the Years got to number 11. That's kind of amazing to me because of how ubiquitous both of those songs are. Maybe they just are to me because of how I've lived my life and the things that I've listened to and watched and whatever. But I feel like when I hear one of those songs, they definitely take me back to when I was a little kid. Like 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that area. And then I didn't find out about Dirty Work until later in life. I don't remember hearing that one on the radio.
So the story about that song for me is Shaw Blades Tommy Shaw and Jack Blades doing their duet album where they just covered a bunch of songs. They covered this song, and I don't think I knew it was a Steely Dan song when I heard it.
You know, Clint, that may be when I learned about that song, and then found out it was actually because I remember the record because they did like Yes, and they did all kinds of
Oh,
stuff,
yes.
and I probably heard it and went and knew that it was a covers album. Probably went and looked, and yeah, that's probably how it happened for me too. It's a wonderful song. It's got such a it's funny. It sounds older than the rest of the album. If that makes sense. Like it sounds like it has an older sound to it, but it's weird, man. Like Do It Again and Reeling in the Years don't match up at all. Like Reeling in the Years. It starts with a guitar solo. And it's that classic Steely Dan compressed and crunched down. Just that guitar sound is that Steely Dan.
Yes.
Anyway, I can remember in the 80s when I was a teenager hating those songs because I heard them so much growing up. But then somehow I came back around and I'm like, no, man, those are great songs.
No, it's a fantastic way to start a great run for them in the 70s. So,
I read
yes.
I read once that I think Jimmy Page says that the guitar solo in Reeling in the Years is his favorite solo of all time.
Really?
Yes, that's a little tidbit I found that I made sure I wanted to get in.
That is high praise from one of the greatest guitar players of all time.
Oh yeah.
I once tried to here's a fatal mistake I've made. I'm going to just admit this now because there was a time, Rich, where I wanted to have the hot take. True story.
Uh-oh.
I tried to make the argument. You may have been involved in this. I tried to make the argument
There's a chance.
that Jimmy Page was the least talented member of that band, and I'm just ashamed of that take now.
I was involved in that, and I think I agreed with you.
I don't know if I feel the same now. Uh, I
I think I put Robert Plant last now.
yeah,
And
I would if I had to re-rank him. Robert Plant's going last, and you're gonna have to. I could go. I might
I
have to just.
remember. I remember the
You remember this now.
I
So if
remember
I
the conversation. I remember my argument, and I'll give it to you again if you want.
okay,
I took it like this. Amongst drummers, John Bonham is higher amongst drummers. Amongst bass players, John Paul Jones is higher amongst bass players for me than
yes,
Jimmy Page is in the guitar list. That's how I did it.
yes, and that was exactly. I think that's exactly what I was thinking about. But when you make a hot take like that, when you kind of let it settle and it kind of cools, and you try to reheat it, it might be like kind of reheating fish. It just smells bad and it doesn't taste good. So if I had to go back and tell you what I would do now, I'm probably doing 1A, 1B. I'm going to cop out because I still think John Paul Jones is so underrated and is so magnificent. But Jimmy Page, man, in his own right, his guitar playing is fantastic. So that is, and I love John Bonham. That's just too hard. That band was so incredible. We'll talk about them next episode. But back to it's high praise that he made that
Oh
the
yeah,
guitar solo for Steely Dan.
I don't even think Walter Becker plays guitar on this song because
I don't think he does.
he probably plays bass because he played bass too, and like they were studio musicians, and so if they didn't like how something sounded, they would call somebody else and say, "We're doing this record, and I don't like this, and you need to come play it." They did that a lot with Larry Carlton. Like they couldn't get the guitar work that they wanted, and I don't look up Larry Carlton if you don't know him. He's amazing, like one of the best ever, 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 ever as far as studio goes.
Yeah.
You're not going to see him out on a stage a lot, but yeah, they were notorious for that. But yeah, it's just it's one of those songs, man. It feels like childhood to me. Do It Again too, but for me, it's more so Reeling in the Years.
Well, that's awesome. So that was your number one, my number two. So I guess we'll go with my number one now.
And it's a great pick.
Ah, yeah. So it's The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie. I think if you go look at a lot of lists from this year, you'll see that pick pretty high. If you've really listened to that album, oh my gosh, David Bowie is the freaking musical genius. And I guess maybe I make the mistake of maybe I use that term a little too much because it just sounds fun to call somebody a musical genius. But David Bowie is one of those guys.
No, he is. And
Man,
if this were a best albums of 1972, definitely in my list.
yeah. Well, I own this album and I listen to it probably once a month. And I just think it's incredible. It's just one of those it's actually really easy to pick, certain songs from it. And I absolutely love. So one of my favorite, if I make another reference to movies, and this is kind of telling how much music influence I have from movies. Sidebar, I showed Back to the Future to my kids for the first time last night. Now we only got through half of it, right? But if you go back and watch the beginning of the movie, the first thing you're going to recognize is, oh my gosh, this Huey Lewis song is on fire.
Oh
It is
yeah.
perfect for this movie.
Oh yeah. No, and while you're sidebarring on Back to the Future, do you know that if Back to the Future was recorded right now, Marty would be going back to 1994?
Wow.
If
Oh
they
my
filmed that now, he
God.
would be going back to 94.
He went back 30 years. Okay,
Yeah.
dude,
Let
I'm
let that
not,
let
I,
that marinate.
I wasn't ready for that. You might have just end the podcast. My heart just caved in.
You started it.
I know I did, and I totally deserved it. That's humbling. Okay, enough on that.
Back
All
to
right,
David Bowie.
back to David Bowie, but back to movies first though. The first Guardians of the Galaxy movie had Moon Age Daydream in it. And yeah, you know the song. I'm
Oh
an
yeah.
alligator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Side two has got some wild stuff. That Ziggy Stardust, but Suffragette City, that song gets a lot of play. But really, though, this is an album to be appreciated and digested in its entirety. But Moon Age Daydream is just, it's an all-timer, man. And I love the fact they used it in the movie. It was a perfect placement of a song, and it made the song even better.
It's a great record, and I love it. And it is one that I do go back to. So it could have been in my top five.
It was number 6.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Well,
You're right. And here in a second, we're going to throw out real quickly a few honorable mentions. But now I love this pick. It's a it's just it's easy to go back to and enjoy.
it's the best Bowie album for me. So it had to be on my list.
Wow, that's
I mean,
I'm gonna have to think about that one. Otherwise, I might be making a hot take. So,
yeah, be careful.
but you're right. It's definitely up there.
We have to do a hot take warning.
Yeah.
You want to make that claim.
No, that's fair. I mean, it definitely. If somebody wants to say that, it makes sense.
That's my view on it. But now, so that's all I have to say about Ziggy Stardust. So I want to learn about what missed the list for you.
Foxtrot was not on my list. I like what you had to say about that. Definitely. Todd Rundgren missed my list. You had it. But, this was the first Eagles album. I mean, say what you want about the Eagles, and this is definitely not even close to like their good stuff, but still, it was their beginning. So, we'll talk about that. Exile on Main Street. We don't even have that. We don't even have that in our list. But neither one of us are huge. We're not huge Stones fans, but that's not considered possibly
Their
one of
best
their
album.
yeah. So that's odd that we didn't.
It's got my favorite Rolling Stones song on it, though, Tumbling Dice. Yeah. It's number 9 for me, strangely, but it's got my favorite Rolling Stones songs on it. I felt that's the one I felt weird about. I'm like, that ought to be in my top 5, but it's not. Harvest by Neil Young.
Oh,
But I
that's.
mean,
I mean, that was a big one. It was pretty big. There was a lot of Close to the Edge by Yes. That there's some great songs on there. Like there's some songs on there that I remember hearing as a kid because my dad was a big fan. It just didn't really stick with me in a way that these other things did. Jackson Brown, that was his debut year.
Talking Book by Stevie Wonder.
If you're a Velvet Underground fan, you had Transformer by Lou Reed, and like the people that love that stuff, that's like the greatest record ever.
I just
Ever.
can't. I mean, okay, I just haven't done that yet. I haven't made that leap. I've tried to listen to Velvet Underground, and maybe I need to try again.
I've
But
tried multiple times. If you've already tried once or twice, then just just give it up. Yeah, there were a lot of other things that year. Next year is hard. When we do the next episode, it's not an easy one because 1973 is one of those banner years. So that's going to be super fun.
yes, so there's going to be a lot more hand wringing. There was less hand wringing on this for 1972. Is more about okay, these albums that we picked made sense, but we missed a few that a lot of people would have had them in their list, but I'm not losing sleep over the albums I left off.
Right. Yeah, no, but next time,
1973 is different.
it's
I'm
hard.
I'm not really losing sleep, but I'm like, the right pick there. I don't know.
Yep. And just, teaser, we've got a few quite more than this time the same, but then we also got some stuff that I'm so glad you picked instead of that I didn't pick. And maybe hopefully the other way around for you too.
Yeah. I think the ones we left off the list that conversation will be just as interesting as our top 5. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. I was interested again. I love doing like tease instead of spoiler. We had different number ones, and I was actually semi shocked, just a tiny bit, but I get it because I know you. So
yeah, your number 1 is in my top 5.
Yeah,
and that's a tough decision.
And your number one's in mine. So anyway,
yeah.
You 8 to 12 their list and go look at records from 73, see if you can figure it out.
Yeah. Make your own list.
Oh, this has been fun. This is exactly what I thought it would be.
Just some rehashing so many things, so many sidebars. Rich, this is it, man.
I thought we would do these in 30 to 45 minutes. It looks like we're going to be hour-long episodes.
Oh, no. All right, we'll try to get better.
Yeah, we can try to get better, but even an hour's not bad.
We're a little rusty.
We are a little rusty. That's true. That is true. But actually, definitely some of these are going to go much quicker because we're going to have so many duplicates, I think.
Yeah, and then we're going to get to like the 2000s, and that's going to be a dark time of music, and we may not even record those.
Yeah, there might just be like 2 to 3 of you at that. Oh goodness! All right, yeah, all right. I have had fun, y'all. Thank you for listening. I'm glad we're back. I can't wait to do the next episode.
Baby,
we're back. I can't wait to do the next one already now. I'm so excited about this. Oh, by the way, I hope you enjoyed the new intro music. That was composed, written, performed by me.
Bravo, Richie.
Enjoy. I've had lots of fun with my little MIDI synthesizer, so hope y'all enjoy that. Actually, we're just going to take it out with that right now. So, y'all, you're here, so you know where to find us. I'm not going to go through all that. Thanks for listening.